Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, hello, welcome. This is Cancer's video, March 2023. What's up, Cancer? This is G. I've got my notes. We got a lot to get into. There's changes coming. So here we go. We're going to start right at the front end of the month. We have a release and an ending energy. It's the full moon time. This happens every month, but the difference is what sign is the moon going to be in. All right. So for Cancer energy and this full moon that's occurring, it's around the 7th of March, right? You might start seeing the full moon up in the sky a little bit sooner, and that's totally normal. But it's when the full moon literally reaches its fullest point and in the exact opposition with the sun. So exactly opposite of each other, right? And that is going to be at 16 degrees and 40 minutes, 1640, or you could say 17 degrees. So if we're having a release and an ending, we got to find out the sign of Virgo. What does it mean? What are some keywords for Virgo energy? So Virgo energy is about, it's functional, it's practical, it's the minutia, it's the details, it's connecting the dots, it's the make it make sense energy, there's a thing for every place, a place for everything, it's domestic. So when you're at the house and you're organizing and something is supposed to go here and then something goes here and we're cleaning, we're seeing that this is dirty, and it just wants to take care of the small things, the things that people don't normally get accolades for, right? Like what gets done in the home and how important that is. It doesn't get the reverence. It doesn't get the kudos or the awards or the applause like Capricorn energy does. Capricorn is normally like that career energy, right? And it's like, oh, but look what that person could do. The whole world sees it, right? Virgo is the next earth sign down, right? If you think of Capricorn, it's over here. We'll say it's over here. Well, Virgo is right here. And then Taurus is right here, right? So 3 earth signs, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. And so as you evolve, as you go through the zodiac, as you go through those 3 earth signs, each sign contains a little bit of the energy from the previous sign, right? Because it's a process of growth, a process of evolving, right? So when we think of Virgo energy, Taurus is what I value, right? It's the material, the tangible, it's my desires. It's kind of primal in the sense of this is what I value and this is what I love and this is what I like, sensuality and taste and feelings and smells and scents, right? Kind of primal that way. But then it goes on to Virgo, it becomes a little bit smarter, uses the brain, it pays attention to the details, and it's able to connect dots. So Virgo is known as like the troubleshooter of the zodiac. So when you're in your Virgo mode, especially in the home, is when you see something's like maybe falling apart or needs a little bit of attention and some love, and you're just like, oh, I could probably do a little bit of this and that, and then like it's good as new again. Like that's Virgo. That is Virgo energy working with the practical and the tangible. But for Virgo, they don't want to have things, you don't want to have things that are sitting around unless there's a purpose to them, right? So you're not going to collect items just for the sake of collecting them. You're going to have them because, well, I can use that. I might not use it all the time, but it has a purpose. It has a function, right? And that's really important to Virgo energy. It's got to be logical, right? Logical and rational. Virgo, they can see that detail, so they can sometimes be critical. They're pushing for perfection. Virgo is pushing for perfection. Now, this is a release and an ending. And it involves like daily routines and tasks. And it's it's like calendars and writing lists. That's Virgo energy. I got to write my to-do list, right? Got to have this calendar, got to schedule and pencil you in. Very Virgo-ish. Virgo wants things to be orderly and neat. Okay. Neat and clean, hygiene, big deal, right? I think of cats who groom, any animal that you see grooming, but cats, because like it's, cats and dogs, or any domestic pet for that matter. But, that Virgo energy used to be associated with the Leo energy. They used to be at one. They used to be one sign. Yeah. At one point in time, they were under the same sign. They were one sign, right? And so Virgo kind of broke away from the Leo energy. Leo became the big boss. Virgo became more about kind of behind the scenes and just taking care of the things that we don't get the awards and the applause about. But here's the thing about Virgo energy. It's extremely important. Think about it. When you got to get up and go to the work in the morning, if shit's not good at home, if stuff's not functioning at home, how much of a huge difference does that make in your reality? Like when you have to go to the job and you got to put in the hours, like there's food involved with that, there's clean clothes involved with that. There's like I have a place to sleep involved with that. And I'm able to actually sleep because there's a bed and it's got clean linens and it's safe. Like that's the small practical functional things add up to a whole lot. And that's Virgo energy. It adds up to the big picture. So this is a release and an ending. And when I look at your chart, Cancer, you're doing this in your third house. So this has something to do with your daily routines, likely your siblings or neighbors, next door neighbors, anybody that you talk to on a regular, like a coworker type of energy, even classmates, even if you go to school or if you're a teacher. This is Virgo energy. So this is going to be in communications. This could be social media. This can literally be people like where you live in your neighborhood, right? So let's like barter and trade and going to the store. Because think about that. Barter, trade, going to the store. Think about all the Virgo stuff. Like I know that I need laundry detergent to do my laundry, right? And so Virgo and being in that third house, this is thinking in short trips. So I'm traveling within my community, right? So if for my food, I might go to the farmer's market, right? Like this is all local stuff, local, right? This is literally the library, the grocery store, the post office. Like all this is that third house, like all the little merchants and businesses that make up your immediate community, which would be like schools, right? I mean, there's a thousand examples. Put some in the comments. Let me know, what is it in your community? Where's a place you stop by? Probably, a high percentage of time in out of your 7 days in your week. Like, give me some answers. Like for some folks, they got to go and get their coffee every morning. Where do you go get your coffee? Let me hear from you. Like, do you get a newspaper every morning? Right? Because it's the third house, and that is information and news and sharing. So that is newspaper energy. This is where we come in with the social media nowadays and the devices. Yeah, this is third house, Mercury, the phones, devices. It's also the automobiles, right? And even walking because it's in the community. Now, this is a let go and a release. So there might be something you're changing up, something you're done with, something you're saying, you know what, this is finished. It's Virgo though. So it's some sort of a routine that you had. Some sort of a routine could have been with a neighbor or somebody who, like I said, may even vibrate or feel like a sibling to you. Okay. Now, endings and closings are only going to be a big deal if you've got something around those degrees. If you don't know, if you need help, get your digits to me, comment to me below, and I will help you out in any way that I can. Now, also at this time, March 7th, we have Saturn making a move, right? Like there's more. It's not just about being a full moon. There's more. So Saturn is moving. It's leaving from the sign of Aquarius where it's spent for the last 2.5 years. Saturn, 2.5 years in Aquarius, my friends, and group energy. Saturn is now moving into Piscean energy. So Saturn going into Piscean energy, remember, Saturn is my long-term goals. Saturn is very serious. It's material, it's tangible, it's all about things that are hard, right? Things I can actually hold in my hand. But it's typically, I'm holding it in my hand, maybe not a pen so much, although this, you could include this, but like if I had a stack of gold in my hand, right? Because Saturn is about long-term financial securities. That's Saturn, right? And it doesn't have to necessarily just be something you can hold in your hand, but I think of commodities, like things that you can literally hold, right? And so we think of like precious metals because it's like kind of Capricorn energy, Saturn, Capricorn. Yep, same thing. And so we think of, yeah, the earth and her beautiful natural resources, right? And how all that's going to be needed for all that Aquarius energy and the technology, right? But now we have Saturn going into Pisces. So Pisces energy, we need to know what Pisces means, right? Saturn is duty, responsibility, work and career. We move into Sirius. Saturn moves into Pisces, and Pisces is very soft energy. It's not as driven. It's more of, I'm going to see where the water takes us. It's very flexible, right? And it's very much in tune with the energy, with like what's happening at the time. That's Pisces. It's sound, it's sensitivities, it's Hollywood, it's performances. It's unity and oneness and understanding, even forgiveness. So, in spiritual work too, like I'm hearing spiritual work, don't forget spiritual work, right? So, for some of us, Saturn going there can make our spiritual endeavors, give us purpose, give us meaning, really kind of focus and incorporate more of the tangible and the material and have it fold into doing good just for the sake of doing good, just for the sake of, but we need this. Like this is needed right now, right? Pisces is the energy. This was Jesus in the garden praying. Jesus sacrificed, right? Like there's lots of other wonderful uh, leaders, prophets, way showers, whatever you want to call these esteemed people, right? That we sometimes pray to or look up to. Different religions, right? Depends on who and what that looks like for you in your life. But either way, Saturn and Pisces organizes. Saturn is about restructuring, right? It sets up structures. It sets up like, hey, let's do this with this, with this. And it says, okay, so we're taking all these spiritual pursuits, but even creative pursuits. Even I think of Hollywood. I think of people doing good with their platform, people who have a platform, people who have that sort of public figure type of power where all eyes are on them, and then doing good with it, like saying, you know what, let's channel this, let's take this and really do something with this, because it's about unity and oneness. It's about saying, I see there's this need, so I'm here to serve. I may even sacrifice a little bit, right? Because that's Pisces energy. And it's serving and sacrificing together. So when Saturn comes there, Saturn is people who are older typically, because it's people who are more serious. It's someone that we could look up to. So this can be a father figure in your life, or it could be someone who presents to be older or wiser in some way. It's Saturn energy, right? So now that I've just talked about Saturn and Pisces, where does this happen for you in your life, Cancer? Let's find out the where. Cancer energy, Saturn in your ninth house. Your ninth house, this is fascinating because your ninth house is the house of spirituality. It's religion. It's my philosophy on life. It's higher learning. It's going to school. So this tells me you either become the teacher, or you decide to go to school. So maybe you receive a teacher. Maybe somebody comes into your life and there's something that changes and transforms within your own philosophy, whether it's truth and freedom and spirituality. All that's going to change, and it's somehow going to have some structure and some order. Saturn, wherever Saturn goes in our chart, like that pocket, that house number, we tend to grow up there a little bit more because we tend to get a little bit more serious. We tend to think a little bit more about our long-term future. And so your ninth house is also traveling long distances, taking a trip, maybe going away for school, but going on a journey. And when we go on that journey, we feel free. We feel free. We learn more about the world around us, things that we never knew. We have this insatiable curiosity, but yet when we learn these things, other cultures, right? When we immerse ourselves, all of a sudden it feeds us, and we somehow see how we relate with the culture around us, with different cultures, and we learn more about who we are in that way. And at the end of the day, that's what the answer is in the ninth house. It's I'm searching and I'm seeking, and I'm going outside of myself. And by going outside of myself and then seeing how I relate to different, I somehow learn more about who I am. So this is Saturn making this a little bit more serious. This is Saturn saying, you know what, this is that place of I want to go on a trip. But it's not just a little around the block thing. This is more, I'm either getting in the road or getting on the horse and going long distance, right? Coast to coast, or I'm getting on a plane and taking a flight. Saturn makes things a little bit more serious. Okay, so what you want to do is see if you have something at 0, 1, or 2 degrees in Pisces, because Saturn is not a real fast mover, and you're only going to feel this if you have something like a house cusp line or planets at those degrees. Okay, now Saturn stays here for 2.5 years. So for the next 2.5 years of your life, Cancer, that ninth house has Saturn, mature, adult, responsible Saturn going through your ninth house of your future and of spirituality and religion and the thirst for learning and truth and freedoms. Now, the next event is the new moon. We go to the further part of the month, down to the 21st of March, March 21st. We have an Aries new moon. Aries new moon is all about independent action of my body and my freedoms. My body, how I appear to people. All right. Who am I and how do I look? When people look at me, what is the first thing that catches their eye? And do I appear to be a leader in some way? This degree is like near the 0 degrees access point. So it's very powerful. It makes a point of saying, if you can envision, if you can take what you dream about, take what you've thought about, take where your willpower is, take what you are willing and ready to fight for, something you will not back down about, something you're willing to even take the charge, be in front and take the lead. This is that. This is a powerful time where if you set your intentions and you focus your thought and your emotions, you can make these things come true. Like they can manifest. It doesn't mean you wake up the next day and there they are. But from this moment on, things change. Every choice you've ever made changes from this day on because you become more serious. You become more focused. You become more driven. And they all align with the intentions you set on this day. Yeah. Now, I did some deeper dive homework on this, and this is a power of clearly visualized ideals. Ideals. So this is very idealistic energy. This is saying that Aries being the fight energy, Aries being when I wanted my way, when I wanted to move forward, when I wanted to be the pioneer, it was more like my way or the highway. It was more like a fight makes it right, or I can make it right with fight. But Aries is learning to grow up. It's learning to stop using its weapons. It's learning to put the weapons down. It's learning to say, no more weapons. I need to use my words. Right. Aries, the power of focused thought and intentions and leading high aspirations, being positive and optimistic and leading and taking a spiritual path. Are you willing to lead? Let's see where this happens for you in your life, Cancer. Your Arian energy, your Aries new moon energy happens at your 10th house of career. Now, typically for folks who have Aries energy at their 10th house, this is like, I'm always starting something over. I get bored. And so I'm always starting over unless I'm the one leading, right? And even if I lead, I get a team of people under me and then I'm ready for the next thing. Because Aries has a tendency, when it's young, it has a tendency to get easily bored. Okay. But if this is something that you find that really inspires you, it's not about you being inspired. It's about you taking those inspirations and you being the inspiration for others, you showing the others the way, you leading and showing others the way. And as long as you're able to do that, and it's covering the greatest good for the most involved, right? And it's again a spiritual battle almost. This is a time of forging a new road, of building a new road, even a time of setting it almost in stone. I keep hearing in stone because it's Saturn, and Saturn is your 10th house, by the way. I don't mean to confuse you, but this is how the astrology comes to me, right? So I see all the planets fly at me. 10th house Saturn. It's hard, it's tangible, it's material, it's something you work at for a very long time. And if you aren't already working at it, if you haven't already been working at it for a very long time, this is something you are willing to work at for a very long time. You are willing to keep at it, even if you don't get paid. But that can change because this is your midheaven, your goals, your ambition. This is your vocation. And so it is time to be that leader. Are you ready to lead? Now, 2 days after this new moon, just 2 days after this new moon, we have Pluto. Pluto comes in. Right. Wait, there's more. There's Pluto. Pluto comes in and it's leaving the sign of Aquarius. I'm sorry, Pluto is leaving the sign of Capricorn and going into Aquarian energy. Pluto going into Aquarius, this is the first time ever. For all of us that are living and breathing right now, we've never lived through this before, right? So it's a time where Pluto, who is the rotor of the zodiac, right? Because it digs deep, it drills down. Pluto into Aquarius. Aquarius is technology. Aquarius is inventions, things that are cutting edge, things that are innovative, things that are disruptive, things that have not even been invented yet. Pluto going into Aquarius. Changes. Aquarius is friends. This is group energy. This is mass transportation. You think of the airlines, you think even of the railroads. It's mass transportation, but it is an air sign. It's also power, individual power. Pluto is power. Pluto is power with a purpose. And going into Aquarian energy, Aquarius is my individuality. It's how I stand out from the crowd. Like I have a whole bunch of friends, right? But I stand out from my friends. There's something super unique about me. And I'm original. And the originality of who I am is embraced. And I'm not afraid of it. Like it's okay to be the rebel. And Pluto gives us that power. Each and every one of us will be endowed with this Pluto power. So where is the 0 degrees of Pluto in your chart? Because this Pluto is going to dip in, it stays at 0, and then it dips back out. It only is in Aquarius until June of 2023, and then it backs into Capricorn, and it stays there until 2024. So these next few months, pay attention. Pay attention to what changes in your life. All right. Your Aquarius energy, the location of your life for your Aquarian. Pluto in Aquarius is your 8th house. This is your blood bonds. This is your energetic bonds. This is people that you resonate with on a super deep level. Friends, right? Do you have friends that these could be friends because it's digital. No, not making this up. It's digital. It's Aquarius. So this is like group actions, like when we're in the chat, when we're online, when we're vlogging, like it's digital. Okay. Now it can be people that you see face to face as well, but there's something super unique about it, something even shocking. They might be youthful. There might be some that are youthful and there may be some that are older than you. That's the kind of energy this is. It is very different. It's very unique. It is about doing things that like there's a shock value to it. There's like lightning bolts, right? So it's deep blood bonds, but it's also soul bonds. 8th house is the placement of healing. It's the placement of healing. So in your life with Pluto going there, this is all about like dissolving those wounds, dissolving them literally, because what will happen is Pluto has the ability to show us things that we thought we had already healed, that we thought we had already released. And this is because it's in the location of your 8th house. All right. So Pluto will give you that power. Remember, Pluto is the Phoenix rising. It's the Phoenix rising. It's like something that looks like, remember I said it, you thought you had processed it, like you had released it, it was over, it was done with. But then Pluto brings it back up again somehow. It does a little bit more digging. It looks around. It's in Hades. Like that's what Pluto is, And that's not to be Hades in a scary way. It's just to mean it's things that we don't normally see. It's not the physical realm. And so it's stuff that can be about fear and vulnerabilities, right? Connected to our past, our soul's history. And somehow they pop up again. And it's through friendships. It's through people that you talk to. And it's not that someone's trying to get you. It's that whatever happens, it just strikes a chord. Something occurs. Something is said. There's a memory that gets invoked almost, right? And so when it comes up, you realize, damn, like I thought I was done with that crap. That was out of me, But what will happen is Pluto will dissolve it eventually. Pluto will totally and completely transform it. And what Pluto does is when it transforms something like that, you really do change. You physically can change. How people appear to you, how you relate to people energetically, how people energetically relate to you will be forever changed and transformed. And there is a possibility here also where Pluto can also take on this extremely amazing altruistic sort of energy because it's not our physical body. It's soul power. Yeah. Pluto, soul power, your 8th house. So it's a wonderful time where we are healing and releasing. So some people literally go to people, they talk to people professionally. Some people, instead of doing that, they vlog about it. Like they either write, they blog, or they vlog. Everybody's different. But Pluto being there, change is happening. And It won't be back here for good until 2024. So in these next few months, they'll just kind of give you a prequel, so to speak, a foreshadow as to what that's going to look like. Okay. So this may be different for some of you, depending upon the degrees in your chart, depending upon where other things are angled in your chart. If you need me to look at your chart, I take free peeks. I will help you in any way that I can. And if you have made it this far to the end of this video, bless your little soul. And thank you, thank you, thank you very much. I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye. Below the video, I'll have all the degrees for those of you who like to pay attention to the degrees in your chart. Again, if you don't know and you want to know, just comment below.